your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
It was a hot day today, and we've got warm conditions overnight tonight, and it's going to be hot again for tomorrow. Right now, we're at 75 degrees in Champaign, 78 in Mattoon, 79 still in Decatur, a little bit better in Lincoln at 71 and 73 in Pontiac. Our Casey Summers weather camera from Mattoon on a roofing dog island. We've got clear skies out there. You can see the moon, and we've got very light winds out there. So we're calling for another very sunny and unfortunately very hot day for tomorrow. We're going to be back into the 90s, we're thinking, by the afternoon, and we'll be looking at some chances for rain showers and storms later on this week. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
A child is in the hospital after being shot. What we know so far.
Simply kind and compassionate act of reciprocating safety.
There are new rules for people going to bars and restaurants, why the governor is changing the mask mandate. And it's an act of kindness from an entire community. How they helped one man after a theft.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Paul CICCHINI. A 3-year-old in Springfield was shot in what police believe was an accidental shooting. Happened near Sequoia Drive and Buckeye Drive. The child was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey is live in Springfield tonight. So, Cole, what were people telling you about what they saw this evening?
After we learned that police reported to the scene, I went to the block where it happened. But the neighbors I talked to didn't know anything had happened on the block until the ambulances showed up. Nobody heard a shot or nobody knew anything was going on. The family of the child could not be reached for details on how the child was hurt. And again, Springfield police said that those injuries are non-life threatening. They're still investigating to make sure that it was in fact an accident and if there needs to be any charges pressed. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Cole, if you learn anything more, of course, let us know. Thanks. An 18-year-old has been arrested in connection to several incidents of gunfire in Springfield. This happened Sunday night. Officers responded to reports on Cedar, South MLK, North 12th, and Reservoir. They later found a car crashed on North 11th Street and saw people running away from it. One of them was confronted by an officer. Police say that's when Larry French took out a gun and pointed it at the officer. Police were able to take French into custody without further incident. Now for an update, a woman in Champaign pleaded guilty to severe animal neglect of 84 dogs. 55-year-old Wendy Richards was fined and given a year of probation for failure to provide humane care and treatment of animals. This started in October when Champaign police were called to their house on Springfield Avenue for a report of a terrible smell and many dogs being kept inside. Animal Control got a search warrant to take custody of the dogs that were inside, running on layers of feces, debris, and broken furniture. Neighbors say they noticed a putrid smell coming from that home.
Just kind of that smell that just kind of pierces your nostrils a little bit. I mean, it did smell like when you connected with it was animals. You're like, oh, okay, it's old urine that people hadn't cleaned up.
Now, the judge ordered a mental health evaluation for Richards, and she's never allowed to have pets again. Her husband, 61-year-old Mark Richards, is facing the same charge. He's due in court September 30th. New at 10, a FedEx driver is okay after his truck was hit by a train. It happened at Route 54 and 600 East this morning, northeast of Gibson City. The sheriff's office says the driver was slowing down to cross the tracks but couldn't see the train coming because of trees blocking his view. The driver dove into the back of the truck with the packages before the train hit the truck's headlights and bumper. He only received a few scratches. Governor Pritzker cracked down on a second region in Illinois today. He added new restrictions on bars and restaurants in Will and Kankakee counties, where the number of people testing positive for COVID-19 keeps rising. Metro East and the south suburbs have a curfew in place. Bars can't serve customers inside and must close by 11. Indoor capacity for meetings and social gatherings is also shrinking from 50% down to 25%.
Wear a mask. This is not that difficult a thing to do. It is for a period of time. It will end. There are vaccines and treatments that are in development. I think we all have some optimism that by next year we will have those available to us, and perhaps we can do away with masks altogether. But in the meantime, masks, social distance, wash your hands, these are just basic, easy things that everybody ought to be doing.
In central Illinois, the numbers are much better. The Champaign and Decatur region is at 1.6%, Springfield 5.5%, well below the state's target rate of 8%. And changes are coming for customers at restaurants and bars statewide. The governor said they'll be required to wear a mask during all interactions with waitstaff or any other employees. This includes both indoor and outdoor seating. WCIA3's Jennifer Jensen joins us now. So, Jennifer, why is this being done and why now?
Paul, Governor Pritzker said it's because there has been an uptake in coronavirus cases. He says they're implementing the new rule to prevent further increase of the spread of the virus statewide and to allow restaurants and bars to stay open during the pandemic instead of shutting them down completely.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, there are people who have complied with the state regulations and those who have not.
If people would exercise good judgment and understand that they're just trying to be courteous, kind, and protect the frontline workers, we wouldn't have to have rules and everything that goes associated with it.
Wear a mask.
The increase in cases caused Governor Pritzker to require customers of restaurants and bars to wear masks anytime they come in contact with employees. That includes while you're ordering, being delivered food and drinks, and any other time staff serves you. Before, people only had to wear them while entering, exiting, and moving around the area. Sean Baird, owner of Watson's Shack and Rail in Champaign, says he's noticed customers have been fairly compliant in the past.
People are very receptive to the new rules and everything like that. There's only a few people that don't get it for some reason.
Baird is used to the rapidly changing environment of the restaurant business, so he's taking this new rule in stride.
Restaurant business is always like this. There's always something new getting thrown into the loop, and you're always working on your feet and adapting and changing. So this has clearly been the biggest year for that.
Jim Roberts with the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District says the latest mask requirement should be taken seriously by customers and restaurant workers.
Businesses are required to have people obey what the governor says, and we have that through our ordinance. And so if a business owner has people that are not complying with this, they can ask them to leave.
CUPHD is encouraging people to follow the guidelines not only for your own safety, but also in consideration for the health safety of people around you.
Think of others other than yourself. Think of those frontline workers that are trying to serve you and take care of whatever your needs are. And by helping keep them safe, we keep businesses open, which keeps us all going on the right track.
The new guidelines go into effect tomorrow. In the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Jennifer, thanks. The State Board of Education is working with colleges to prevent a shortage of teachers. One of the newest educators in the state will be EIU grad Allie Trizzle. She'll be an elementary school student teacher in Charleston in the fall. So far in 2020, there are nearly 2,000 unfilled teaching positions in the state. Trizzle says some of her final requirements were waived in an effort to keep filling those during the pandemic.
Usually before student teaching, we have to finish our content tests, we have to get background checks, like physicals done and stuff like that. Because of the COVID, the content test was waived. We usually have to have it done by a certain date, and we didn't have to this time.
Trizzle says she's most looking forward to what she calls the light bulb moments when students learn something new. A private high school in Springfield confirmed there are 2 positive COVID cases there. The news comes only a few days into the new school year. Sacred Heart Griffin High School is still holding in-person classes and doesn't plan on stopping soon. While the school does have contingencies set up for students who are in quarantine, it doesn't have a hybrid plan.
All the schools are equal and the same as far as we're concerned, and they're all people and kids, and we're trying to help schools go and answer questions for anybody.
The school wouldn't confirm whether the cases involve students or staff. The school is also being deep cleaned, especially where the people who tested positive would have been. Cases are up in McLean County, and officials say it's because of the influx of students. The rolling 7-day positivity rate there is 7.4% through Monday. Today, the health department announced 43 new cases. Public health officials say many of those are Illinois Wesleyan students after an outbreak there. The total number of positive COVID-19 cases in McLean County sits at almost 1,200, with 16 deaths. Champaign County had another record-setting day of coronavirus cases. Many of those are tests from students returning to the U of I. There are 86 new cases today. That follows up 68 from yesterday. According to U of I campus testing data, there were 263 positive cases in the 5 days from Wednesday through Sunday. The rolling positivity rate from those days 0.7%. The good news, only 2 people are now hospitalized with COVID-19. The state's reporting more than 1,600 new cases. That makes over 223,000 total infections since the pandemic began. The state's positivity rate has dropped for the second straight day, now at 4.1%. 29 more people have died, though. Illinois has lost over 7,900 people to COVID-19. And join us Thursday at 6:30 for our 30-minute special, COVID-19, Just the Facts. We share your concerns with medical experts to get you the most up-to-date answers on the virus. Friday night football isn't happening this year, while you'll still hear the sounds of one team playing over the radio. Plus, some schools let out early today, but it's not because of coronavirus. We'll tell you why. And it's both good news and a waiting game for Illini basketball when one top target could announce who he's playing for.